Good evening, everybody. Well, we have our first case diagnosed in Coos County. We knew it was coming, but it's still kind of heartbreaking that it is here, and it definitely beefs up our game here. We've got to really, I think everybody's doing good. I know my community in Groveton here has really stepped it up, and I miss seeing everybody. We've really toned it down at the town office, and everybody's doing their stuff online or mail or whatnot, so I have had requests, and I've got some cute pictures for my grandchildren for another story. So that's really what I'm here for, not to take up your time and bore you. So tonight, I don't have a lot of books here at my house because I've given them all to the kids for my grandkids, but I have a few. One of them, this is my very favorite book. This book was printed in 1967. Dr. Dolittle. This book belonged to Hannah Rowe, who was my grandmother. And she read this over and over and over and over to me. I loved this book, and that's why I still have it. So I'm going to read this to you, and I hope you love it as much as I always loved it. The Travels of Dr. Dolittle. Still smells like my grandmother's good cooking. Once upon a time, there was a doctor named John Dolittle, M.D. The MD meant that he was a doctor and that he knew a lot. He was a smart dude. Dr. Dolittle lived in a little town in England called Puddleby on the Marsh. When he walked down the street in his high hat, all the dogs and cats and cows and horses and pigs and chickens and sheep and frogs and turtles ran after him. I still love this book. I can remember my grandma. Instead of doctoring people, Dr. Dolittle doctored animals. He was very fond of animals, and animals were very fond of him. They came to his house from everywhere so that he could take care of them. Then, instead of going home again, they stayed. Look at that piggy. Soon his house was filled with all kinds of animals. There was barely enough room left for Dr. Dolittle himself. Look at him in that chair and all those animals sitting on his lap and beside him. I think he's lucky. Dr. Dolittle gave names to some of his favorite pets. There was Dab Dab the duck, and Jip the dog, and Gub Gub the pig. Aww. Tutu the owl, Polynesia the parrot, but the doctor had so many mice and canaries and hens and roosters and turtles and rabbits and hedgehogs and alligators and opossums and raccoons that he could not find names for them all. One rainy day, Polynesia the parrot said, "Dr. Dolittle, you have so many pets now that you must learn to talk to them. We will teach you animal language." Dr. Dolittle sat down in front of the blackboard. His pets gave him lessons. Soon he learned to talk with the animals. Soon he understood everything they said. See? Dr. Dolittle went to school. Moo means hello. So when a cow goes moo, cow's saying hello. See? We both learned something tonight, didn't we? One night after the doctor had learned the animal language, the door flew open, the monkey ran in. "Doctor," the monkey cried, "my name is Chi-Chi. I have come all the way from Africa to tell you about the monkeys. They have a terrible sickness. They beg you to come to Africa to cure them. Will you do it, please?" Poor monkeys were kind of going through something like we are with the coronavirus. That's so scary. "Of course I will," said Dr. Dolittle. So early the next morning, the doctor and Chi-Chi and Jip and Dab Dab and Gub Gub and Tutu and Polynesia took all of their luggage down to the seashore. Dr. Dolittle got a boat from a sailor. Then they all went on board. Here's his boat. For 6 weeks they sailed on and on over the rolling sea. When they got to the equator, they saw some flying fishes. The flying fishes said, "It's only 50 miles to Africa." That owl looks like he better hold on. Goodness gracious. But then a great storm came up with thunder and lightning. The wind howled, the rain poured, the waves splashed over the boat. Suddenly there was a big boom. The ship stopped. It rolled over onto its side. "Dear me," said the doctor, "we must have run into Africa." "Get the rope," cried Polynesia. "Dab, Dab, you take the end of the rope, fly to the shore, tie it to the palm tree. Then those who can't swim, go down to the rope until you get to the land." And that's how they all got safely to shore. Teamwork. See? They left the boat, they climbed on the rope until they got to shore. They all took shelter in a nice dry cave they found up in the cliffs. Suddenly, Chi-Chi said, "Shh, I hear footsteps." See, they're in a cave, but they heard somebody coming. They looked out and saw a soldier come out of the woods. He wore a mask over his face. He carried his shield and a long, sharp spear. "You must all come before the great king of Jolliginski," he said. "All of these lands belong to him. Follow me." Oh, he wasn't very nice. When they had followed the soldiers a little way through the forest, they saw the king's palace. The king was sitting under the umbrella. "You may not travel through my land," said the king. Then he told his soldiers, "Take this medicine man away. Lock him and all his animals in my strongest prison." Oh, he is not a nice king. That's scary. Poor Dr. Dolittle. He must have been so scared. The prison had only one little window. It was high up on the wall with bars across it. The prison door was strong and thick. The walls were solid stone. Gub Gub the pig began to cry. Even Dr. Dolittle looked worried. But Polynesia the parrot said, "I'm small enough to get through the bars of this window. Tonight I'll creep through the bars and fly to the palace. I'll find a way to make the king let you out." Aww. Teamwork. So that night the parrot flew to the palace. She crept into the king's bedroom very softly and hid under the bed. "I am Dr. Dolittle," said the parrot, just the way Dr. Dolittle would have said it. "You cannot see me. I have made myself invisible. Now listen. I warn you." Very smart. Polynesia went under his bed. Now he's scaring the king. No, she's scaring the king. "You let me and my animals travel through your kingdom, or I will make you sick like the monkeys. Send your soldiers to open my prison door, or you will have mumps before the morning sun comes up." At those words, the king began to tremble. He jumped out of bed. Woo! Good. He was scared now. He told the soldiers to open the prison door. The doctor and all his animals rushed to the prison. They ran through the forest toward the land of the monkeys. They ran as fast as they could. But when the king found out how he had been fooled by the parrot, he was dreadfully angry. He rushed around in his nightshirt. He woke up all of his army. He sent them to the jungle to catch the doctor. Chi-Chi the monkey knew the paths through the jungle better than the king's soldier did. He led the doctor and his pets to the thickest part of the forest. He hid them all in a big hollow tree. Chi-Chi said, "We must hide here while the soldiers are close by. Soon they will get tired and go back to bed." So, as you can see, the soldiers are looking, but they are hidden in that hollow log. Chi-Chi's pretty smart. When the soldiers had all gone, Chi-Chi brought the doctor and his animals out of the hiding place. Then they set off for the land of the monkeys. And that very evening they saw a lot of monkeys. They were sitting in the trees looking and eagerly waiting. When they saw the famous doctor, the monkeys made a tremendous noise. They cheered, they waved, they swung out on branches to greet him. They were as excited to see Dr. Dolittle as we're going to be when they have a COVID-19 vaccine. But the king's shoulders hadn't gone to bed. They were still following. They saw Dr. Dolittle. They ran to catch him. The doctor and his animals ran harder than they ever had run in their lives. Uh-oh, there's the soldiers. They came to a high place with a river far below it. The land of the monkeys was on the other side. Jip the dog looked over the edge and almost fell. How are we ever going to get across? He asked. Oh my goodness. See? Jip the dog almost fell off the edge of that cliff. Then the leader of the monkeys and the biggest one of all cried out to the others, "Boys, a bridge! Quick, get lively! Make a bridge, and quick as a flash!" And the monkeys made themselves into a bridge. They did it by holding hands and feet and tails. They made a bridge of monkeys. And the big one shouted, "Walk over, all of you, walk over our bridge." Teamwork. If everybody works together, it always works out. Dr. Dolittle and his pets were all a bit afraid. Such a narrow bridge and so high above the river. But all of them got over safely, and the doctor was the last one to cross. Just as he reached the other side, the king's shoulders came and rushed up behind him. They waved their swords, they threw their spears, they howled and they yowled, but they were too late. Dr. Dolittle and all his animals were safe in the land of the monkeys. See, there they are. Dr. Dolittle and the monkeys are on that palm tree. They just barely made it. The doctor found hundreds and thousands of very sick monkeys. He made all the monkeys come to be vaccinated. For 3 days and 3 nights they came from the jungles. They came from the valleys. They came from the mountains and the hills. Poor little monkeys. They were so sick. They came to the little house of green grass where the doctor sat all day and all night, vaccinating. And then very soon, the monkeys all got better. There's his little grassy house that he gave all those monkeys shots in and made them feel all better. By then, the doctor was all worn out. He was so tired that he went to bed and he slept for 3 days and 3 nights without even turning over. Look at the monkey looking through the window saying, "Oh boy, he is exhausted." When he woke up, Dr. Dolittle saw that none of the monkeys were sick anymore. They were all well. His vaccination had cured them all. So he told them that now he must go home to Puddleby by the marsh. He says, "I gotta go home, guys." The monkeys were very surprised at this. They had hoped that the doctor would stay with them forever. That night they got together to talk things over. The big one got up and said, "It is sad that Dr. Dolittle must leave us behind, but since he must go, let's give him a fine present." "If you really want to please him," Chi-Chi said, "give him an animal, one he has never seen before." "An iguana? Nope. An okapi? Nope. A push-me-pull-you? Yes! No man has ever seen a push-me-pull-you. Let's give him a push-me-pull-you." Here's all the monkeys talking about how wonderful Dr. Dolittle is, and they just want to give him a nice present. Now, there aren't any push-me-pull-yous anymore, but then, when Dr. Dolittle was in Africa, 1967, there was still a few of them left. The push-me-pull-you had no tail. Instead, he had a head with horns, both in the front and in the behind. Push me, pull you. Push-me-pull-yous, with their 2 heads, were very hard to catch. When one head was to sleep, the other head was always wide awake and watching. This is why they were never caught and never seen in the zoos, not even in 1967. To catch a push-me-pull-you for the doctor, the monkeys made a plan. Very, very quickly, they set out through the forest to hunt. They found a place where they thought the push-me-pull-you might be. Then they made a circle and joined hands. The push-me-pull-you heard them. He tried to break through the ring of monkeys, but he couldn't do it. He saw it was no use. He sat down and asked them what they wanted. They asked him if he would go home with Dr. Dolittle. See, there's their circle of love. Push me, pull you. Couldn't get out. Push me, pull you shook his head hard. Certainly not, he said. For 3 days and 3 nights, the monkeys tried to persuade him. Then at last he said, I will come with you and see what kind of man this doctor is. So they had him a little bit convinced. The push me, pull you took one look at Dr. Dolittle. He saw at once that the doctor was a very good man. The push me, pull you said, you have been most kind to all these monkeys. I have made up my mind. I'll go with you. Then the doctor and the doctor's animals and the push me, pull you started back to the seashore. The monkeys went with them to see them off. It took a long time to say farewell to hundreds and thousands of monkeys that wanted to shake Dr. Dolittle by the hand and thank him for making them well again. See, everybody's going across the rope and getting back on the ship. All the same ones that came with them, except for the push me, pull you. He was a new one. Then the push me, pull you, Gub Gub, Dab Dab, Jip, Tutu, Polynesia, and Chi Chi all went to the ship with the doctor. Soon they were out of sight of the land. The wide sea looked terribly big and lonesome. They lost their way. They had no more food. There was no wind to fill the sail. Dr. Dolittle said, I'm afraid we're never going to get home. But then he heard a strange noise high in the air. It grew louder and louder and louder. Birds, millions of birds, millions of swallows flying fast. The swallows saw the ship. They came down very close. They swooped and skimmed over the water. They took a hold of the ropes with their feet, and away they flew. They pulled the ship along behind them. Now the doctor was traveling fast. He had to hold on to his hat with both hands. The swallows flew on and on. They pulled and pulled. They pulled the ship to England in almost no time at all. Yay! Look at them. He had to hold on to his hat so it wouldn't fall off. The winter sun was shining when the doctor got back to his own country. It was good to be home at last. Every night after supper, the doctor and his animals would sit around the big, warm fire. Then the doctor would read aloud to them, just like I am you. He would read them the big book he was writing about their trip to faraway Africa. There's his home. Africa, the land they would never forget, the land where the monkeys chattered in the palm trees, the land where they found the wonderful push me, pull you. The end. Well, I hope you enjoyed your story, your Friday night story. Everybody have a good night. Hang in there. Love you all.